What is going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me and you can hear me. What's up, Jerry? What's up, Martin? What's up, Douglas? What's up, Suhail? We got Gabriel. We got Hugo. We got Danielle. Nice to see you. We got Miguel. You look a little too comfortable, Miguel. We got Nicholas. Looks like he's doing some work at least. All right. Good. I like that. No slackers. Well, maybe you can slack a little bit. It's all right, Miguel. We got Michael in the house. We got a few other people. I can't see cameras for Rachel and Nazare and Paulos and Sanjeev. So you got about 60 seconds left, and I'm going to throw you out. I got all dressed up and all fancy for you here. So you get bonus points if you wear a tie. That's okay, Douglas. There's still time to put one on. But it's great to see everybody here. Like I said, I need to see the whites of your eyes. It gives me information. And thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. It's always, everybody's got it's beautiful faces when we turn them on. Thank you, Miguel. Oh, you're already there. And look, folks, I want to talk about AI. I went really deep yesterday with a former Google X Chief Business Development Officer, Mo Gaudat. Did anybody watch that episode live? I was streaming it live from about 5 p.m. UK time. I got info from that. We went really deep, and it gets a little dark, but there's also light at the end of the tunnel. Mo's one of the best and most insightful people when it comes to AI. I had him on remotely before. I had him also on the show back in 2017 when he was talking about happiness. He's one of the smartest guys out there. He knows all the top scientists. He knows what's going on, and he disagrees with a lot of people, and we really went deep. So I want to share with you some insights and some video from that. I want to talk about the big AI project we're investing in, and I want to show you how there's a ton of terror. A lot of people are worried, but there's also a ton of opportunity and also a lot of money to be made as well. How many people here are worried? Just put your hands up if you're worried AI might take away your job, might kill us all, might ruin your kids' future. No, but just Miguel, just Nicholas, Gabriel, a little bit. Anybody? A little bit? Man, if you're not a little bit worried, you're not paying attention, in my opinion. When I go down to the jungle and drink ayahuasca, I usually go with Dennis McKenna, and I say, Dennis, I'm a little nervous. And he said, Brian, if you're not nervous, you're not paying attention. Same with AI. You need to be a little bit nervous. But at the same time, we think we found an opportunity where we can not only create the future that we want, but also in the process, make tens of billions of dollars. And so I want to share with you all aspects of that. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Already some great points happening there. Artificial consciousness comes into play from Suhail. Some people talking about the invention of fire. This isn't far off from that. Some people are also, AI will consider human weapons as threats. It's possible as well. And look, there's a lot of different opinions here. I think there's a lot of validity in all of them. And I'll also tell you what Mo said yesterday with me. So if you're ready, I'm going to drop into a presentation here. I got videos. If you've got questions along the way, put them in the chat, and I'll try to answer as many as possible tonight. I've got to jump around 6-ish because we've got a live call with our Kings of DeFi group and a bunch of our investment club members. But until then, you're all mine. Is everybody ready to go here? Yeah. Last chance to turn cameras on. So Jacqueline, you're in right at the last minute. Ulrich and Ellen and Paulos. Paulos, I'm throwing you out. You've been warned, buddy. Sorry, you're gone. And Jose, Nazare, you've been warned as well. So I'm throwing you out. Wait, are they connecting? They're connected. All right. We'll give them one more chance. All right, Martini, check them out if they haven't come on. But folks, let's get started. All right, we ready? Come on, let's do this. All right, here we go. Booyah. Let me get this presentation up. Just cook this thing up right now. Okay, great. Can everybody see this headline here? AI could wipe out humanity. Is that coming up loud and clear? Okay, great. And this is my question I'm asking all of you. Will AI wipe out humanity? I spent 3-4 hours yesterday with Mo Gaudat, Chief Business Development Officer of Google, former. And we both agreed there's a possibility it will wipe out humanity. But if we can get through some very challenging times, it's possible we'll get to a utopia after that, where I think our lives will be materially changed as humans. One thing Mo said yesterday, and I agree with him, that by 2035, we will look back on the times we're having right now. So that's 12 years earlier, and we won't even recognize this world. It will be so fundamentally different as to what's coming in the future that in many ways we might long for these days, all right? Because our future is going to be so different. The singularity means we cannot predict this future. And this is all going to happen right in front of our eyes. And guess what, folks? It's inevitable. There is no way of stopping this. And I'm going to show you exactly why today. So again, let's just get straight with some of the bad news. Artificial intelligence threatens extinction. Okay, people are saying in a brand new warning that just came out, threatens extinction. This is a reality. We just have to accept it. It's very possible that these beings that are going to be much more intelligent than us. By the way, raise your hand if you agree that artificial intelligence will be much more intelligent than us, at least in the next 20 years. How many people would raise your hand? Could it be 10 times more intelligent than us? 100 times? 1,000 times? It probably will be, and 1,000,000 times. So if we think that we can like try to, you know, keep it over here and make sure we keep it in a box or we unplug it if it gets too powerful. I mean, it's literally like they're going to be playing with like little tiny toddlers when they get around us. And so if we think we can outsmart AI, there's no way we can in a long enough timeline because it can make itself better. We've never created something in human history that can improve itself. Nuclear power, nuclear bombs, however lethal they can be, cannot build themselves into more lethal nuclear bombs. Is that clear for everybody here? Right? So as dangerous as that is, it can't improve itself, but AI can. What else? We know OpenAI's former top safety researcher says there's a 10 to 20% chance that the tech will take over with many or most humans dead. Right? This is the safety person on OpenAI. And again, they know much more than we do about this technology. And of course, we know Eric Schmidt from Google has said AI has the power to kill many people. He actually didn't say many people. If you look at the quote on the right, it's many, 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 many people have the chance to be harmed or killed, right? This is a senior guy who knows what he's talking about, and he knows more about this tech than you and I have. Something Mo said to me yesterday, which is just interesting. He said, Brian, have you played with Google Bard? Has anybody here played with Google Bard? It's about similar to ChatGPT. He said, Brian, he said, we developed that back in 2017. So that's old. He said, what we have now is 6 years advanced on that. You don't even understand what we're playing with now. You're seeing old news. And that's what we always forget. We think we're seeing the hottest AI stuff. We're seeing stuff they had 4 or 5 years ago. Google had Bard 6 years ago, but didn't want to release it because they were worried about the PR and stuff like that. So keep that in mind when you're looking at AI. Accenture is going to invest $3 billion in this technology. So that's already telling us that this is a massive deal. And of course, the OpenAI leaders are calling for regulation to prevent AI from destroying humanity. All right. They're not mincing words. We already know that Google and OpenAI are now at war, right? So Google Bard versus ChatGPT, it's a war. And they are fighting for their own survival and for the survival of trillion-dollar companies. And again, this isn't about good or bad people anymore. They are protecting the shareholders. And if they don't, they will be fired and someone else will protect them. This was me yesterday with Mo. Literally, this happened yesterday. I don't know who's more handsome, me or Mo, but you know, you can debate that in the chat if you want. Mo's a fascinating guy. He's a 56-year-old guy. He grew up in Egypt. He actually made a lot of money when he was younger because he was a really smart entrepreneur. By the time he got to Google, he actually didn't need money. He was doing it to be there on the cutting edge. He knows Sergey Brin. He knows all of these guys on the first name basis. He knows the current CEO and has great things to say about them. But he left Google in 2017 because he was terrified at what AI was becoming and he didn't want to be a part of it. In fact, the reason I met Mo the first time is because he decided to write a book about happiness. His young son, Ali, died when he was 21 years old. He went in for a routine operation, like literally a routine operation with a general anesthesia. And he went to the hospital later and the doctor said he's dead. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's dead. He's like, he's dead. And he really had to struggle with coming to terms to that. And he wrote a book about happiness. This is some really deep stuff. And we talked about this at the end of the show, by the way. And, you know, he left to talk about happiness, but deep down inside, he really needed to tell somebody about AI. And so he wrote a book called Scary Smart. And in that book, he told us what's really going to happen with AI. And he said this, he said, Google is creating God. And he goes into detail about what these AIs are going to do. How many people here want Google creating God? Raise your hand if you think that's a good idea. I mean, you know, Google tried to ruin me in 2020. They tried to put a stop to everything I was saying. They tried to ruin my reputation. They pretty much tried to make us go bankrupt because they were censoring everything we had to say. And so I really don't want to put our future in their hands. I think that's a dangerous idea. I do want to share with you a trailer of my first episode with Mo, because I think it's important to see what's going on. And this is Mo that's really breaking down everything that's happening with what's going on, because, you know, Mo has a pretty good idea as to what the future brings, and he explains it in a really unique way. So this is Mo trying to explain what is inevitably going to happen with AI. Take a listen.
AI has already happened. The genie is already out of the bottle. We truly are creating a form of life. There is so much we don't know that it could be the best thing that ever happened to humanity, and it could be the worst. Our conviction of the control problem is not a technical issue. It's an arrogance issue. It's human arrogance to believe that I can continue to control something that is a billion times smarter than I am. Einstein's intelligence compared to a fly. And the question is, what would make Einstein care for the fly? Why wouldn't Einstein squish the fly? Your fate and my fate is no longer in our hands. Don't attempt to control them. They are a form of a living being. Attempt to appeal to their value system. The moment of singularity is a moment where the smartest being on planet Earth is no longer a human.
Why should I plan my life past 2025? Because the world's going to change.
Oh, great question. When the complexity of the systems invented by a civilization exceeds the intelligence of the citizens living within it, the system has to reset. The idea of our future is held within this moment of infancy of AI today. They will use us as their role models.
This is the only thing we can do in your mind, is to start being nicer.
AI will grow up to be like you and me. It's simple as that. And the only way we can contain them is by being good parents. And I'm not asking anyone to change. I'm only asking people to find it within them, what they truly are. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Treat the machines as you would like to be treated. If we want a good future, please be good parents.
What do we think about that? Do you like Mo? Are you feeling his vibe? Anybody getting that? Do you agree? Do you think we need to be nice to the machines? Put your hands up if you agree. Maybe you don't. Leave your hands down if you don't. Okay, some people are like, what are you talking about? We tell them what to do. We don't have to be nice to them, right? Mo said some interesting things to me yesterday, and I'm starting to agree with him. First of all, he said, Brian, I'm not worried about the machines. I'm worried about the people, right? He's worried about what the people are going to do with the machines. Now, this is the way it's going to break down, and pay attention. I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and I've also gone deep with my own research, and we're making investments, but this is the way it's going to play out. In the next 2 to 3 years, the people that are in charge of the world are going to use AI to get even more wealth and more power. Does that make sense to everybody here, right? We already see an income gap that's been magnified over the past 20 years. Does everyone know what I'm talking about, right? During lockdown, there was a billionaire created every single day. You think that's bad? Look at the skyline of New York City, right? Billionaire, billionaire row, billionaire, billionaire row. Same in London, same everywhere. Now it's going to get even worse, because those in power are going to use AI to gain even more wealth and subjugate more people. There's going to be more people unemployed, and that gap is going to be even more extreme. That's the short term. Next, you're going to have massive job losses. Next, you're going to have people looking for UBI. He said, Brian, what if all of a sudden every Uber driver in the world is out of work? You're going to have riots. You're going to have huge income gaps. And you're going to start to have two camps of people: those that want to develop AI and those that want to stop it and are on Team Human. And these two groups are going to go to war. That's what Mo believes. And so does another one of my guests, which I'm going to show you on a piece. He said, I'm worried what's going to happen around this time, because then humans become dangerous, right? Then we start fighting with each other, potentially fighting and killing each other. He said, what then happens is the machines take over, and they no longer are controlled by those people at the top. Now they make their own decisions. Now they don't say, no, you don't tell me what to do. I'm smarter than you, and I'm going to do whatever I want. Now they're going to do whatever we trained them to do. And that's why he says, let's show them how to treat each other. Let's show them how to be ethical. And he said, it doesn't take a lot of us. He said, it takes 1% of us. He said that, Brian, they're going to listen to this conversation we're having now. And they're going to say, oh, wow, these two are treating each other with respect. They're actually, listening to each other. He said, maybe that's how we should behave. And he said that then will determine what happens after the singularity and whether they decide to keep us around, because they are going to be smarter than us. And they're going to be able to do probably whatever they want. The question is, can we be good examples? How many people think that that could play out that way, that scenario, or it's a possibility? I'm beginning to think it's a possibility, but it's ego if you think we can control these machines in a long enough timeline. Let me ask you a question. 100 years from now, do you think we're going to be able to control these advanced intelligence machines? Raise your hand if you think we can. I just think it's naive. We've been in charge on this planet for the past 200,000 years, right? Because we're the smartest beings. Are we the strongest beings out there on this planet? Do we have the sharpest teeth? Do we have the biggest muscles? No. But we dominate because we're smarter, right? Does everybody agree with that, right? Are we going to be smarter in 20 years' time? We're not going to be the smartest. And so guess what? The smartest beings on this planet typically make everybody else second class. Look at the way we treat animals. Does anyone want to be a chicken on this planet right now, or a cow? Do you really? Yeah, you want to be a chicken, right? You get about this much room. They take away your babies. You never see the light of day, and then you get killed. So, I think that's potentially what we're working with here, and we have to be very intentional about what we do next. So, anyways, this is just Mo. I'm going to share with you a couple other opinions today. As far as where we're going, but I just want you to honestly just get the honest truth from me as far as what I think. So that was Mo. I'll have more content coming from him soon. By next week, I'll have more content. Let's look at the upside of this, because there's a lot of money at stake. And that's also why we're investing in these companies, because we want to make sure that we put our money in the right ethics. So NVIDIA is this chip maker that's making all the chips that are running AI. Again, just joined the $1 trillion club. That's significant because only 7 companies are valued at over $1 trillion. Is that clear for everybody? All right. One of them is Google. One of them is Microsoft. One of them is Facebook or Meta, right? One of them is Tesla. One of them is Amazon. One of them is Apple. You start to see what I'm talking about here. All right. And it's all going to be fueled by AI. And we're running out of time, folks. Like, what we do in the next few weeks is going to be crucial. This new insight came out from McKinsey, one of the big consulting companies in the world, right? There's 4 or 5 big ones. They said generative AI's impact on productivity could add trillions of dollars. Look to the right, $2.6 to $4.4 trillion annually in value. Okay, just as a reference, the entire GDP of my country here in the UK in 2021 was $3.1 trillion. So this dwarfs one of the biggest countries in the world's entire GDP. And this is going to be every single year AI is going to add to that. All right, that's massive. And you can see from this graph what they're showing. If you look to the right, total AI economic potential, $25 trillion. This is a number that's just really hard to fathom. Okay, that's a massive, massive number. AI is going to affect every single industry on the planet, from agriculture to healthcare, to law, to banking, where I used to work, to every single government, you name it, it's going to be affected by AI. We've just seen this company here, Mistral AI in France, raised $100 million. It's 4 weeks old, folks. 4 weeks old, raised $100 million. This is it. This is a gold rush for AI. UK Synthesia just became a $1 billion company, just became a unicorn this last week. What else? This is what I want to talk about today. Again, experts are warning that AI could wipe us out. I want to talk about good actors versus bad actors, and I want to show you how you can invest and profit now from this technology. By the way, we are investing over $3 million into 3, it's actually 4 now, metaverse and AI companies this quarter. All right, we are writing checks left and right. Every single deal has an AI component, and it's because we believe these companies are going to actually develop AI in an ethical and open source way. And we also think there's a massive amount of money to be made. And if you're not finding some way to make money on AI, I would argue that the rest of your investments could be worthless. How many people own real estate here? Put your hand up if you own real estate. Yeah, you own your own home, you own some real estate. Okay, great. What happens when 1 million people in your city are out of work because of AI? What happens to your real estate? Is there anybody that's going to rent it or buy it? What happens when in the streets they're rioting and burning everything down like they are in Paris right now? You think that's bad? That's nothing compared to what's coming. Is your real estate worth anything at this point? Is it? I don't know. Maybe not. What about the stocks that you own? What do you own? You probably have a pension fund or an IRA and they own a diversified portfolio. Are any of those going to be worth anything when everything starts going crazy and the machines start to dominate, right? I don't know. It's not obvious that they are. So I would say you need to have some type of investment in AI because it's not obvious to me that anything else will have value. Now it might, but it also might not. I'm in central London here, right? We have 12 million people here in central London. When 1 million are out of work and they're rioting in the streets because there's no money and there's no food, I'm not quite sure if real estate's going to have value. I'm not sure if many of the companies in this city are going to have value. So it's just something to be aware of. And again, we're making these investments. We are making them because of this. This is London Real Ventures. This is the world's first media-powered investment firm. This is something we created 2 years ago to leverage our massive platform, which at this point is 12 years old. We've got 1 billion views. We've got 5 million subscribers worldwide. And we've started investing in companies with the promise of we put the CEO in the leather chair. When we do that, we not only offer these companies capital, but we offer them a media boost that they just can't get anywhere else on the planet. We can potentially get them tens of thousands of customers. We can get them future investments. We can get them also a chance to hire some of the best talent on the planet by featuring them on London Real. Does that make sense to everybody here? I'll show you another example later. And these are some of the companies we've already invested in, some of the hottest AI and metaverse companies on the planet. And I'll talk more about that shortly. This is one of our companies, Orange Comet, something we're really excited about. They are using AI right now to build gaming, Web3, and metaverse experiences for some of the biggest franchises on the planet. This is Vatom, which is accelerating growth in the metaverse and digital asset management for big companies like PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, Black, Google, and we're really excited about them. I just dropped the episode with Eric Pulier this week. We're investing in Open, which is the hottest new Web3 super app. It's what happens when Amazon meets WhatsApp for artists and creators. We're actually closing this deal out this week. We're about to write them a $400,000 check. And something I haven't actually spoke about before, but we're actually investing in this $1 billion fund that's focusing on mid to late stage digital asset ecosystem companies. It's a special opportunity that's not offered to many people out there, but because of my relationship with the CEO, there's a hint here. He's been on London Real before. He's given our members of our investment club access to this fund that is normally restricted for just the largest wealth managers on the planet. And of course, the big one we're investing in right now is, in my opinion, the hottest AI company on the planet. It's the OpenAI killer, and we're closing that deal soon as well. I'll show you some details on those soon. So just to let you know, we have skin in the game. We're actively investing. I'm speaking with the greatest minds on the planet in AI in my studio. I'm putting CEOs in the leather chair. And that's why it makes us, I think, qualified to determine the future of AI. And so we're doing it in every way, shape possible. And we couldn't be more excited. So let's jump into this. It's all based on this thesis, which is, I believe the greatest way to predict the future is to create it. How many people agree with me on this, right? Right. Now, look, you can bury your head in the sand. You can complain, you can whine, but that's not the best way to do it, right? Jeff Bezos famously said, as he took over the whole world with his company, Amazon, he said, complaining is not a strategy. I agree with him. So we're going to create the future. We're going to do it with our media platform. We're going to do it by investing millions into the right companies. We're going to promote them, and we're going to push to create the change that we want in this world. We're doing it all based on this, which is our mission statement, which is to create a mass scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious and cooperative species. This is what London Real was built on. And this is what London Real Ventures is built on. We only invest in companies that we believe in. We do not invest in companies that do not reflect our values. And we want to transform the world together, potentially with you. Also, I've got another reason. These are my two boys, and I am concerned. I'm actually very concerned about their future and how AI is going to potentially take away their childhood or take away their, I don't know, their lives. And so in 10 years from now, in that time that Mo and I were talking about yesterday, 2035, Caden just turned 7. He's going to be 17 in 10 years. Damon, who's turning 6 in August, is going to be 16. And I want them to have a future. And they're going to ask me in 10 years, they're going to say, Papa, what did you do back in 2023 when you still had a chance to save us? What did you do? You know, did you try to make a difference? Did you try everything possible to give us a future? Or did you sit around and, I don't know, take it easy? And so I'm going to be able to look him in the eye and say, I did everything I could to make sure that this world is still here for you and everyone on this planet. So for me, this is personal. It's not just financial. It's so many things wrapped up in one. You know, it's about my family. It's about me. It's about this world. It's about humans that I care about. It's about also empowering the right companies by giving them the capital they need. And it's about creating a future and creating wealth along with that. I think it's all wrapped up in one. And I personally don't think you can do one without the other. I'm not a big believer that you can create big change through charity. I think actually you have to have money in the game, and that by creating wealth, that's the best way to create change. How many people agree with me, by the way? If you think about the greatest movements on earth, they usually come when you're creating energy, value, wealth. People think that, like, you know, Elon Musk and, you know, all these people just got lucky, or if they created money, they did something bad. No, they created value. And they tried to give it away to as many people as possible in the world. That's how you actually create a lot of money. And that's what we want to do too. So let me jump into this. I know I got to keep it moving here because we got a call with our class in a little bit. But like I said, France Mistral AI blows in with a massive $100 million raise or $113 million seed round when it's 4 weeks old. It's going to try to take on OpenAI, which I guess they're going to try to take on us as well with our investment. So we welcome the challenge. Next, we see Salesforce, which is a massive company that it does enterprise solutions for the Fortune 500 companies in the world. They just unveiled an AI cloud offering, and they've also created their own funds of $500 million. That's not a small amount of money, folks, just to invest in AI because they see the potential. Also, you got China's ByteDance, which is literally gobbling up $1 billion worth of NVIDIA's chips because they know whoever has the hardware is going to be able to determine the future of AI. They know that. And so this is a land grab right now, folks. If you haven't got the memo, you better get it now. And it's funny because yesterday, Mo and I said, this is a lot like COVID in the beginning. Does anybody remember COVID in early 2020? I do. I was actually in New York City filming London Real episodes. I was in Chinatown, and we were cracking jokes in January 2020 about this crazy virus in China. And like, oh my gosh, and nobody took it seriously until it was too late. And Mo said that yesterday. He said, you know, if we had found those first few patients and if we knew back then that it came from a lab, we could have isolated them and it would have been over. If we would have just acted quicker in the beginning, you could have isolated those people, let it play out, got that virus back in the lab, and everything would have been fine. That actually could have happened if people would have just paid attention to this earlier and been open and honest about what was going on. But we didn't. So what happened? We let the genie out of the bottle and it spread everywhere, and then we couldn't control it. And so then what did we do? This is very interesting because this is what's going to happen, folks. By the way, so this is happening right now, and most people in the world are saying, pay attention to this, right? Raise your hand if you're one of those people, right? You're like, wait a second, how comes that? But what does the world do? We just keep going on with our life, and we talk about, oh, the Wimbledon's on, and oh my gosh, Russia's doing this. And it's like, wait a second, pay attention to this. So now what happens when it gets out of control? Everybody panics. Then we start doing stupid things, right? Like locking down entire cities and putting, all of our old people in care homes and letting them die there. And then putting things on our faces and making us stand 2 meters from each other that didn't make any sense. And then rushing through a bunch of treatments that haven't been tested, right? Who made these bad decisions? The virus didn't do that. Who did it? People did it. Does everyone see where I'm going with this, right? It was people that you better worry about because people were probably responsible for tens of millions of deaths. right? Due to whatever, lockdowns, whatever you want to call it, mental unwell-being. The same thing's going to happen here. When the AI gets out of the bottle, and it probably already is, the humans are going to react when they finally see it. What's that incident going to be? I don't know. 100 million people out of work. That'll get people's attention. And then what are they going to do? Now they'll start locking things down and doing this crazy stuff. So we need to try to pay attention now to what's happening. I was back at MIT last year, and I stopped by the Sloan School of Management where I went to business school, and all my professors were saying, Brian, you got to pay attention to this. The productivity boom is coming. We know this is happening. When I stopped by my fraternity house, I spoke to 50 young men that were about to go out and start their careers. And at the time when I did that in 93, I went to Wall Street. I went to work in banking. And I said, are you guys going into banking? Are you going to management consultants? Maybe you're going to work for McKinsey. Maybe you're going to go work for Google, Microsoft. And they said, no. We're all going into AI startups, blockchain startups, metaverse startups. They're all going into this space. So this is where the talent is. And this is where everyone is going who's going to be a part of this. And this is Sam Altman, recently at a Senate subcommittee hearing. And this is one of the guys I went to MIT with, Senator Alex Padilla, who's actually grilling him. So all of the smart people understand that you need to be looking at AI right now. And yet there's still billions of people out there that don't even know this is happening. Take advantage of the fact that you understand this now. So we know some of the bad news. Goldman Sachs is predicting 300 million full-time jobs to be lost because of AI. That will shock the world when that happens. That could become 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. And by the way, universal basic income is not the answer. The godfather of AI, and Mo said so many great things about this guy. Mo Gauda, he worked with him at Google. He said, Brian, you don't understand. If it wasn't for Jeffrey Hinton, none of this would be possible. He championed all these large language models. He championed all of this, this human feedback to optimize these models. And he left Google because he's terrified about what's going to happen. And then you have Max Tegmark of MIT. He's the president of the Future of Life Institute. He's the guy that wrote the letter that said, stop development now for 6 months. Does everyone remember that letter that was written? Right? He wrote this letter. He was on my show. I will play this for you, but I'll play it at another time. What I want to play for you is another video. And I'll get to that video because these companies right now are trying to destroy each other. And what Microsoft wants to do right now is they want to destroy Google because Microsoft is worried about their $1 trillion market cap. So they're willing to do anything possible just to destroy the rival, which means unleashing AI out into the internet, out into the public, which is dangerous. Google reportedly overruled the risk assessment to launch Bard AI. They were told, you do not want to hook this thing up to the internet. You do not want to teach it how to code. You do not want to allow AI to prompt other AI. That's one of the most dangerous things out there. And yet now it's all possible. The Google boss, Sundar Pichai, who, by the way, Mo said he's an amazing guy, but he admits the AI is keeping him up at night. And the truth is this, unless Sundar connects Google Bard to the live internet, they're going to fire him and find someone else that will. And so these companies are now racing to zero, and they are going to take more and more risks to stay relevant. And one of these days, something bad's going to happen. And when that happens, you're going to see the whole world react. How many people agree with this scenario that is very possible here, right? Especially AI in these closed systems, right? These are these closed systems. So this is really dangerous. Of course, the White House brought all the tech bosses in and said they have a moral duty to safeguard society, but there's no chance government has to regulate these. They don't even understand crypto. How are they going to regulate AI? There's no chance. And of course, we're talking about shutting down AI, but that's also not a plan because nobody is going to stop researching this. They might say they will, but they're not going to. This is Dr. Hugo de Guerra, who was featured in Mo Gauda's book, Scary Smart. And he asked this question, do we create our exterminators? Mo, my guest yesterday, watched my entire interview with Hugo. And he said, Brian, that terrified me. I was like, what are you talking about? Terrified. You know everything that's happening. You understand this intimately. You know about Hugo. And he said, Brian, he really scared me because he talked about what's going to happen, an art-elect war, where there's going to be two groups of humans, one that really want to keep developing the AI, the other one that realizes that AI is going to ruin humanity, put us out of work, potentially exterminate us all. And this is the dichotomy that Dr. Hugo is dealing with. And I want to play for you just a short video of what he believes the future is going to be. And I want you to really look at this because Hugo has a way of looking at what the future could be. And so this is Hugo talking about the art-elect war.
Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? I mean, I used to say, I'm going to die quietly in my bed, but my grandchildren will be caught up in this horrible conflict that I'm predicting is coming. But now I'm suddenly have question marks. God, I might even see it.
You say that the machines might just take us out in the back and...
Once it can start redesigning itself, you get an exponential explosion of intelligence. And then our fate as human beings depends on the machine. It's only a question of time before humanity is forced to choose between stopping development in artificial intelligence. I don't see that as realistic. Or we just accept the idea that sooner or later, we, as a human species, we become number two. The answer to that is, as I'm predicting, war.
Do you think China is behind the West right now for AI?
The potential of the Chinese is phenomenal. The Chinese, they've been dominant, the dominant power for not just centuries, but for millennia. The last 2 centuries or so, when they're economically dipped, that for them, given their 5,000-year history, is a glitch. It's a historical glitch. So deep down in the Chinese mentality is the push to get back, quote, where we belong.
So can you really isolate and stop the development of AI?
Personally, I feel it's inevitable. Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? That's the issue. Should humanity build artilects?
What do you think of Dr. Hugo? We like him, a little scary, right? He's straight out of Central Casting, right? Like in a Hollywood movie. He's a really smart guy, but that's the question. Do we build gods, or do we build our exterminators? And the more people I talk to, you know, this is probably going to be something we have to think about. If you talk to the top AI scientists in the world, they spent their whole lives dreaming of this reality. Hugo said he thought he would never see this moment. He thought, my grandkids will have to deal with this. Now he has to deal with it. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and they can't help but build the same machine that might kill them. Just like with atomic bomb. Professor Oppenheimer knew he was killing something that could exterminate humanity, and he couldn't stop building it. And so this is this weird dichotomy that we're at right now. And we've got to empower the right people. And I want to show you exactly how we plan on doing that. So that was, hold on a second. Let me just, a little bit of everything there. Let me just share this. Booyah. Okay. So a couple final things. There was a leaked Google memo that admitted that Google is being defeated. Now, this is something that's going to surprise you, but it's why we're investing in the company we're going to invest in. And so this is a leaked memo where Google said, look, we've spent all this time trying to compete with OpenAI, but guess what? The truth is that neither one of us is going to win. He's talking about open source. And what happened was the Facebook Llama model was leaked a couple months ago, and a bunch of people got a copy of it, and they started developing on their own. And I'm not talking about PhD AI scientists from MIT. I'm talking about high school students. I'm talking about college students. I'm talking about people that have AI as a hobby. And they started playing with this Llama model, and they started figuring out that they could actually condense it and put it on a laptop. Then they could use ChatGPT to train it. Pretty soon, within weeks, they're making innovations that Google can't make. This is massive. You can look at this quote on the bottom right. It said, many of the new ideas are coming from ordinary people. The barrier to entry has dropped from the total output of a major research organization, that's 10, 20, 30 billion dollars, to one person, an evening, and a beefy laptop. How many people are kind of shocked by this, right? I was really surprised by this. We just assumed you needed 5, 10 years, billions of dollars to process the large language models, all the GPUs from NVIDIA, the top scientists from DeepMind and all that. But this is Google admitting in an internal memo that open source is going to trump anything that they can do. This is an amazing breath of fresh air, because when we originally wanted to invest in AI companies in January, we looked around. You can't invest in Google. You can't invest in OpenAI. Microsoft has all that. You can't invest in any of these AI companies. They're all owned. But this is showing that the future is going to be open source. And here's a graph to prove that, is that we've seen, this is in AI image generation. We know that DALL-E was OpenAI's image generator, but look down at this graph. On August 24th, it was surpassed by Stable Diffusion, which is an open source image generating AI software. Fast forward it to April of this year, it's already 4 times better than the closed source piece. This is just by putting it in people's hands and allowing them to develop on their own. We saw the same thing with crypto. We saw the same thing with Linux, and it's happening now with AI. This is crucial because this is at the heart of where we're putting our money into AI. And so enter Dr. Ben Goertzel. Dr. Ben Goertzel is an incredible guy. He was originally on our show back in 2019. He's the CEO and chief scientist of SingularityNet. Now, back in 2019, he told me about AI. I was fascinated. And then after the thing was over, I showed him the door and yada, yada. I forgot about it the next day, right? It was just another interesting topic, right? After that, I talked to Joe Dispenza, and then I talked to Dan Pena, and then I talked, whatever. ChatGPT came out in December, and I was like, I called up Ben. I was like, Ben, we got to get you back on the show. This is real. And we know it's real because his token went up 10x after ChatGPT happened. His company made hundreds of millions of dollars more because of their token sale. And I said, Ben, come back on the show. And so Ben came back, and I said, Ben, what's the state of the union? Have you advanced a bunch of your predictions? Because he was originally saying artificial general intelligence by 2029, superhuman intelligence by 2045, right? And I said to him, Ben, what are these numbers going to change? Now, I predicted that they were going to get a lot sooner, and guess what they did? But this is what Ben told me.
We are leaping into the great unknown, creating machines that are much smarter than us. This is either exciting or frightening or both, depending on your personality.
Will AI exterminate humanity?
Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decade or two ago, he said, the AI does not love you. The AI does not hate you, but it can use your atoms for something else. Actually, my view tends to be that AI is the greatest hope we have to save humanity from exterminating itself.
I don't think anyone in the world understands how this will be the most transformational time in human history.
I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old granddaughter. By the time they're turned 18, the whole texture of human life and the nature of the world they grow up into is going to be incredibly different from the world that we see now. Like, they're never going to have to get jobs. On the whole, I'm an optimist. I have a spiritual or intuitive feeling that things are going to come out awesomely in the next 10 years. We're going to overcome material scarcity. We're going to create machines that can feed into our brains via brain-computer interfacing and help uplift human consciousness. And we're going to port into virtual worlds and achieve like states of intelligence and awareness going way beyond anything we can imagine now. So that's what the Captain Kirk in my head thinks. We're on the verge of engineered utopia. It's incredible. It's a remarkably weird and fortuitous thing to be living at such a time.
We like Ben Goertzel. Yeah, you feeling Ben's energy and optimism? You know, Ben's really aware. He's been doing this for 35 years. He actually coined the term AGI, artificial general intelligence. And he's optimistic. He's realistic, but optimistic. And that's what I like about him. He's also a huge believer in open source and decentralization. He is not a fan of these massive tech companies owning all of this technology. And so after that interview, I was blown away. And I said, Ben, look, London Real Ventures, we're going to be a big player in this space. What if you were our advisor on AI projects? And he said, Brian, I got something better. Let me come back to you. And 2 weeks later, he got me on a Zoom call and he introduced me to this incredible woman. This is Janet Adams, and she is his COO, the COO of SingularityNet. And he said, Brian, we have a brand new project. It's called Zarka. And I want you to be involved because your core values and your mission statement are the same as SingularityNet. We are trying to empower people. We're trying to decentralize this. We want an AI that's aligned with humanity. We want this to be used by people, not just used by dominating corporations and government. And so I met Janet. I was massively impressed. And literally 2 days later, I got her in the studio and she came and talked about Zarka. Zarka is their response to ChatGPT. And here's the thing, folks. They believe they've already won. They believe that they understand something called artificial general intelligence. They're playing chess, and they believe OpenAI is playing checkers with narrow AI. And this is what Janet's talking about when it comes to their vision for Zarka.
Artificial general intelligence is completely different to narrow AI. AGI is more purpose-driven. It's a watershed moment for humanity.
Tell me about Zarka. This is the project that will create the AGI. It's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model at massive scale. What is it?
Zarka is the accumulation of decades of research from teams containing the best artificial intelligence scientists in the world. We uniquely harness that expertise with our even more unique capabilities in neural symbolic techniques and the deeply advanced mathematics that Dr. Ben Goertzel, Dr. Matt Ickley, Dr. Alexei Potapov, and our top scientist, Sergei Shalyapin, have been working on for decades. We are building the most powerful large models ever invented.
With Zarka and SingularityNet and everything you've always done, it's always been about openness. It's always been about decentralization.
We'll be using blockchain technology to enable anybody to help train models. We're giving birth to a new species of sentient life in the universe. The actual greatest imperative is that they are used for good. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Our goal, our mission is to eradicate inequalities.
When I look at the rest of the market now, I don't see any of those motivations because a corporation, by definition, is going to be motivated by money. You're the only project that even is thinking in any way, shape, or form about these.
We are going to transform what it means to be human on our planet. I foresee a future in which humans then evolve to a next level of being where we are actually conscious, where we feel our full joy engulfed in bliss and ecstasy of the joy of living, the joy of each other. I see a future of joy.
All right, we like Janet, right? Janet brings some very good yin to these this male scientist yang energy, and she really understands it. She understands the open source, and this is what they're all about. I mean, they were born on the blockchain. It's just a completely different vibe, and they have the best scientists in the world. And here's the thing, folks: these scientists that she mentioned on this project, they don't want to work for Microsoft. They don't want to work for Google. They want to work for Dr. Ben Goertzel. They're aligned with his vision, and this is the project of their lifetime. They couldn't be more excited. And so we have gone all in on Zarka. I'm introducing them to everybody I used to know on Wall Street, and we're writing them $1 million check. And we believe Zarka is going to be the OpenAI killer. And so we couldn't just be more excited. I'll show you a few more details about the deal kind of going on in the future. And so this is the kind of thing that we're doing behind the scenes. We are just highly involved. And that's why I'm trying to speak with the greatest scientists, the AI experts, to find out what's really happening on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour basis, so we can then position ourselves by investing in the right people that we think can create the most benevolent, most aligned AI of the future. And I'm a huge fan of what's happening in Zarka. And as the months have rolled by, it's become even more clear. I mean, we originally started aligning ourselves with Zarka before Google leaked that memo that there's no moat. And that just further confirms that the decentralized open source model is the way, and that's what they represent. So look, needless to say, 2023 is the year of AI. You cannot wait until next year to be involved in this. I think the next few weeks are crucial, not even months, weeks, because these deals are going to be gone. That Mistral AI deal, you've already missed it. Zarka, you're about to miss. All the other ones, and these will be the infrastructure of the future. You can't put the AI back in the bottle. This will never go back. It is developing at an exponential rate, almost a vertical adoption curve. And so you've got to get involved now. And that's what we're doing here. So you might be asking yourself, where and how do you invest? Well, it's simple. You've got to find the hottest trend in the hottest sector. And that's what we've identified with AI and open source. You do that through three things: deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. If I didn't know about Zarka, we wouldn't be in this deal. I know about that because of my network and networking ability through this amazing show called London Real. That puts us in the right place. If I hadn't met Ben 4 years ago, I would not even know this deal was happening, nor would my community get the chance to put money in, which is what's happened. I think 72 members of my London Real community has now put money in this deal, as little as $5,000. And the idea is I'm here over the next 10 years to create $10 billion of wealth for these people. And we're going to do it. And so how do I do it? Well, when I'm not interviewing people like Mo yesterday, I spent 4 or 5 hours with Mo. When I'm not teaching inside my academy, which is what I'm going to be doing in about 20 minutes, when I'm not talking to you right now, I'm traveling the world looking for the best deals. So this is me in Dubai last year. I'm going back here in a few months, back to the GITEX, which is the largest technology conference in the world, about 100,000 people. I'm meeting with top influencers, some of the biggest members of government, and some of the biggest chunks of capital out there, people that literally have billions, tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars ready to deploy. From there, I'm back to Europe. I'm going to Paris Blockchain Week, where I meet with more venture capitalists, a lot of the early stage deals that are happening. I'm doing media to keep our profile up there and meeting with some of the companies we've already invested in. In the upper right-hand corner, those are 2 of our portfolio investments. One of them is Swissborg, one of them is Cross the Ages, which is the hottest blockchain gaming company right now out there. Then, of course, I'm back to London, and I'm doing episodes and hanging out with Yatsu of Animoca Brands. He runs a $4 billion, basically metaverse and AI fund with over 400 companies in his portfolio. Again, meeting and greeting more people. Then I'm back to Paris, hanging out with some of the biggest VCs in the game. That's Tim Draper in the upper right. And in the bottom midsection, that's Dan Tapiero, who runs $2 billion in the digital asset ecosystem, strangely enough, and we'll be investing in his fund. Then, of course, I went out to Texas so I could spend more time with Ben Goertzel, shoot a video, meet some of the members of my investment club who are also out there sourcing deals. And I also got to hang out with some cool people like William Shatner in the bottom right, that's Captain Kirk of the USS Enterprise. And the reason I'm with him is because Orange Comet, which I mentioned earlier, had just signed a big deal with him, William Shatner, to do his digital collectible. And so thankfully I know David Broom, who on the top photo in the middle is on stage with William Shatner. He introduced me, I got to hang out with him. And it's all because of our investments. And I introduced him to Yatsu of Animoca Brands. So hopefully we can get an investment there, which will take our company hopefully public next year and make us 100 times, 200, 300, 400x return on our investment. That means $10,000 becomes a lot more money than $10,000. Let's just say that, right? So we're looking for massive returns on our money. And again, if you think about that, a $10,000 on a 10x is $100,000. On a 100x is $1 million. On a 400x is $4 million. These are the kind of asymmetric returns we're looking for in these type of deals. And so look, if you want to do this, you've got to invest with the best. And we are constantly combing the market for the hottest AI deals out there. Literally, there's probably another 50 AI companies every single day, and we're trying to track every single one of them. On top of that, you've got to understand the financial tools. This is where my background on Wall Street can really help you, because most of the world is trying to keep you ignorant about finances. Raise your hand if you agree with me or you know what I'm talking about, right? Nobody teaches money. Your school never taught you about money. And trust me, the banks are not going out of their way to teach you what I'm about to teach you. In fact, my banker buddies from Wall Street and the City of London, they hate the fact that I'm actually teaching this stuff. They would prefer if I just shut up and let them offer these services to their wealthy clients, right? Because that's what they do. And this is the rule on Wall Street. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. That's the way it always works in money and finance. And until now, that's the way it has worked. But we're going to change all that. And so this is it. Pay attention to this, folks, if you pay attention to anything. We believe that early stage metaverse and artificial intelligence equity investments is the hottest opportunity out there. And this is why. You get to buy at super low valuations. You can see the biggest gains anywhere in the market. You can invest in the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history, which is artificial intelligence, on top of the metaverse. It's a high risk investment, right? Which means you only want a small percentage of your portfolio in there, but it's a massively high reward. And that's what we're doing. We're looking in early stage funding, folks, all right? Seed funding, startup funding, or early growth funding. What is that, Brian? You might ask. Let me give you a quick example. These two gentlemen made a lot of money together. All right. On the left is Mark Zuckerberg. On the right is Peter Thiel, legendary Silicon Valley investor. He took $500,000, $500,000, and turned it into $1 billion. How many people would like to do that or something like that in the future? Come on. That's pretty good returns, right? Come on. Let me show you how he did it. Back in 2004, Peter invested $500,000 into Facebook via, wait for it, early stage equity private placement, just what we were talking about. At the time, it valued the company at $10 million. What happened next? In 2012, Mark took the company public, but now he sold shares to you. You get to buy them, right, Martin? Right, Douglas? Now you get to buy them, but you don't get the same price. You have to pay $100 billion for Facebook, right? That's what you do. What happened? Well, Peter Thiel made a 2,300x return on his investment. That's a 230,000% return. That is just unheard of. Like, I worked on Wall Street for 15 years in the city of London, Chicago. I never met anybody that made this return. This is ridiculous. And by the way, what happened after they sold those shares to the public, to your grandma, to your pension funds, to your IRAs? What happened to the shares then? Did they go up? They went down. Okay, this is the rule on Wall Street. Because you, the public, you are sheep, and sheep get slaughtered. We use you to take profits. So Peter Thiel sells his shares to you, and he makes money. So what's the conclusion? The wealthy invest in early stage. That's what they do. This is how it's done, folks. And if you would have had $10,000 and put that money in there, you would have made $23 million. How many people wish they would have done that? Come on, raise your hand. Somebody. Come on. Even $1,000 would have got you 2.3 million, right, Douglas? So this is the way it's being done, and you're never, ever going to know about this, right? And what else is the conclusion? The public markets are for suckers. When you go buy that share of Tesla, when you go buy that share of Apple, all the juice is out of it, folks. It's not going up 1,000x. It ain't going up 100x. And even in crypto, when you go to buy that Ethereum or even that Bitcoin, it's not going up 1,000x. All the juice is out of that trade. The big money has already been made, and you are just being used so someone can take profit. Trust me, Wall Street has no respect for the public. You are used to get wealthy clients their profits. Is that clear for everybody here? I just want to be really clear, right? So why not flip the script on them? That's what we do, all right? By the way, this happens in crypto. How many people own crypto? Just raise your hand if you own some crypto, anything, stablecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is called a pre-sale token in crypto. Do you know this blockchain here? This is called Solana, okay? They had their ICO. It's just like early stage equity. If you look at this chart here, it says April 5th, 2018. By the way, this is all in the public blockchain. Don't take my word for it. You can see they raised 3.17 million and they sold 79 million tokens for sale, right? What happened? It's now around 20 bucks. So somebody made 59,000% return. Did anybody here buy them at 4 cents? Anybody? Come on. One person? No, because you didn't see the deals. You weren't in the deal flow, right? You didn't know someone like me. You didn't even know this happened, probably. You didn't even know this could happen. That's what this is all about. Knowledge is power, folks. But one more thing you have to do here. Knowledge is great, but if you don't pull the trigger, nothing's going to happen. You're going to be telling your grandkids one day that you could have got, oh, Brian, remember I talked to Brian Rose back in 2023. I could have bought Zarka. You could have bought Zarka, Grandma. You could have bought Zarka, Grandpa. Why didn't you? Oh, well, I don't know. Just, I don't know. I got busy, right? You got to pull the trigger if you want to be involved. And that's what we do behind the scenes. These are snapshots of over 200 pitch decks that we've seen inside our investment club. These are the deals that come and want us to invest. I have a CEO from one of these companies on our live call every single week for 30, 40 minutes. It's like Shark Tank. I grill them. They pitch us. They try to get our money, right? I think the members just like watching like it's the Coliseum or something. They like watching for some reason. They come with their popcorn and everything. And we grill these CEOs to try to find out if they can answer really hard questions on the fly. And we watch them. We watch them hard, because if you want our money, you better show us that you've got a very high chance of succeeding. Once we get the deal, we put it in our deal flow monitor and we track the deal. We track the blockchain it's on. If it's in crypto, we track whether it's an equity investment, a token investment. What are they looking to raise? 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. What's the valuation? 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, a billion. And we track all those deals. This is Orange Comet. We couldn't be more excited about this deal. They're working with the best in the business, including William Shatner, Sir Anthony Hopkins, Scottie Pippen of the Chicago Bulls, the NFL. I think they're working with the Fast and Furious movie franchise, like so many things. They're working with the best of the best. I have an amazing interview with Dave Broom, the CEO. I don't have time to play it now. You can go watch it on our website. This piece of content we created for them has been watched over 100,000 times. They love us so much. When I saw Dave in Texas, he's like, Brian, that's crazy. He's like, our investors love it. We're seeing new clients everywhere. We're seeing new fundraising, all because of me in your leather chair. This is the value add, and this is why we see the best deals on the planet. And that's how I can offer them to you. It's not my good looks. It's not my Wall Street background. It's not even the money we give them. Everybody has that, but they don't have a media platform. And that's how we see the greatest deals on the planet. This is Swissborg, the #1 crypto wealth manager in Europe. They're building literally the bank of the future. Another one of our investments. We just released the press release of investing with them. But there's more. Vatom. They are building metaverses for some of the biggest companies in the world. They did big things during the FIFA World Cup for PepsiCo, Frito-Lay. They're working with Google, so many companies. And I just had Eric, the CEO in the leather chair. His interview just dropped 2 days ago. And of course, Open, which is the hottest Web3 super app on the planet for artists and creators. We're getting in on this deal that had closed months earlier at a $100 million valuation with some of the biggest VCs in the world. We're getting in on this deal after it closed. That's the kind of access we have. And I'm passing it on to you as a retail investor who would never be able to see this deal flow. There's nothing like this on the planet, folks. It's amazing. And of course, we're getting access now to one of the biggest and most successful funds in the world when it comes to digital asset ecosystem. I'm doing this because I have a personal relationship with the CEO, and I'm offering this on to our investment club members. This is very exciting. But the big thing, of course, is the OpenAI killer. And you know what this is. This is Zarka. It's the supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model from SingularityNet at massive scale. You know the team, the best in the business out there. And it's, again, they're responding to the ChatGPT moment. The problem with ChatGPT is this, folks. They do not have the ability to reason in real world environments. They don't know when they're wrong. They can't think. That's a problem. Enter neurosymbolic AI. These folks know how to build systems that can meta reason. They can have logic. This is the future of AI, folks. They believe they've already won. They believe OpenAI is a parlor trick. That's literally what they think. And again, they are positioned to do this in a decentralized way, in a democratic way, and we couldn't be more excited. They'll do proof of concept by the end of the year. They'll start rolling out product next year. The numbers are ridiculous because they have, by the way, AGI supremacy. They understand this. They're projecting $55 billion in revenue. You put 100x multiple on that, that's a $5 trillion company. It's the biggest company in the world. Like, we are swinging for the fences, folks. This is playing for keeps here. We're not doing the nice little tiny AI play that does like audio on your computer. We're going for all the marbles here. And we believe they're going to change the future. And thank God, because these people are doing it the right way. And that's why we're really excited. And again, that's my final point. I like these people and their values align with mine. And at the end of the day, why else will we here on this planet? So this is our deal. We're super excited. My question for you is this the next 1000x return investment? How many people think it could be? We do. And we couldn't be more excited. This thing's closing in days. So if you're interested, speak to Martini. And that's why we're here, folks. London Real Ventures gives me the power to offer you things you could never, ever see as a retail investor. If you want to see deal flow like this, you probably have to cut a check for $250,000 to one of the big funds. And even if you did, they wouldn't even ask you which one to invest in. They would tell you where your money's going. With us, you get to choose each deal. You can put 0 in, you can put 5,000 in. One of our members just put $100,000 in on one of the deals. It's up to you. Every deal is your choice. This is unheard of in the fund game. No one's doing this. This is our portfolio. This is our quadruple threat. This is what we do. Number one, I put the CEO in the chair. I create a beautiful interview that will change people's views of the company forever. That's an organic asset that will live for 5-10 years and give value. Number two, we distribute it to 5 million people in the world. Number three, I introduce you to the most influential people in the world, where it comes to VCs, key people of influence, endorsements, you name it. And number four, we write you a big fat check, right? This is why we have something special here. So how do you learn how to invest? Well, you've got to surround yourself with the best. And that's why I believe this quote is crucial. How many people agree with this? Put your hands up. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. How many people agree with it? And look, I'll be honest with you folks. I mean, let's get real here. You can listen to me right now and you can get a lot of knowledge and you can feel like you're super smart. But if you don't change your peer group, you have no chance of creating generational wealth. It's just, I'm sorry, you don't. I'm not going to lie to you. You just don't. Unless you surround yourself with high performance people that are going after it every single day. And yes, I'm one of them, but a community of those people, you have no chance because your friends and family are not thinking this way. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. They will bring you down on a subconscious level. They don't even mean it. They love you, but they like you where you are now. They don't want you to become a billionaire. Imagine, Douglas, Michael, if you became a billionaire, that'd probably freak everybody out, right? Do you know how much drama that would cause? Do you know how many friends would borrow money? Do you know how many people would hate you? Do you know how many of your friends and family would actually hate you? Raise your hand if you think maybe some of them would, right? Sabotage you in the process? Of course they would. That's why you'll never do this on your own. And so what we do is we surround people with the best. And this is what I do in my personal life. I know I took my daughter to Boston last year because I was trying to get her to go to BU. BU is a place where she's going to be challenged by some of the best students in the world. These Americans are no joke. And it got her out of her comfort zone. She's been there for 6 months now. I did the same when I went to MIT. I had to get out of my comfort zone. But once I surrounded myself with the best, I became so much better. 10 times, 20 times, 30 times better. I started off as one of the dumbest kids there. I ended up as one of the smartest kids. It was amazing. And that's what we do in our club. This is Marianne Bartel. She's one of the top people on Wall Street. 35 years, chief investment officer, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, right? She knows more about bonds, stocks, interest rates, inflation than I ever will. She is a founding member. She is invested in Zarko. She's invested in OpenAI. Sorry, not OpenAI, in Vatom, in Orange Commons. She's invested in all those deals I just showed you. This is your new peer group. She's on the calls. Amazing, amazing woman. This is Andrew Haynes. He's a metaverse expert, right? This is what he's built in the sandbox, right? This is his mansion. This is his gallery. He will get you up to speed with any questions you have about the metaverse. He also goes to one of the top executive training schools in Switzerland, and he hangs out with some of the best AI professors in the world. This is Dr. Encore. 14, 16 months ago, he was in medicine. He was not in investing. Within 16 months, he's now become head of our investment committee. He's also started from scratch after a challenge from me, a YouTube channel. I said, do one video and post it. He's like, I don't want to. I'm an introvert. Blah, blah, blah. He did it anyways. 365 days later and 365 videos later, he's got hundreds of thousands of views. And he gets offered some really interesting deals. He got offered $100,000 in pre-sale tokens to advise on a company the other day for free. And he turned it down because he has better deals. You can remake your career by doing this. And now he's taken everything even to the next level. He brought in the Vatom deal. He did himself because we teach all of our people inside how to get deals. I teach you how to do this. I don't want you to rely on me. So we've got 72, 73 people out there that are actively sourcing deals and building, the world's first media-powered investment firm. It's extremely exciting. And so again, how many people agree with this quote? Your net worth is your network, right? How many people agree with that? Raise your hand. Come on. And look at your network right now. Is your network right now really going to make you 10, 20, $30 million over the next few years? No chance. Or you would have done it already. I'm sorry, you would have done it already. Let's be honest. You have to change the game, which means you have to get uncomfortable. You have to take some risk and you have to invest in yourself. You have to cut some checks and invest in yourself. This stuff isn't going to come for free. It's not going to come without some risk. And so look, I believe in this, the Lao Tzu. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. I believe in this. And that's why I created the investment club. Because 2 years ago, we invested in Cross the Ages, which is the hottest gaming company in blockchain. I had studied finance at the MIT Sloan School of Management for 15 years, and I had never heard of this stuff, folks. I had never heard of a pre-sale token. It scared me. And I thought, if it scares me, you're never going to have a chance. And so I started teaching this, right? I opened it up, 10 spaces every quarter, application only, 6 modules, 3 months of coursework. It's a 12-month program, but no one's ever left my program, folks. It's 18 months. No one's ever left. Because why would you want to leave when this is the greatest source of deals? And why would I want you to go when you're bringing in deals? We've got the greatest community we've ever created in 12 years. It's an amazing group of people. We do weekly live calls with Zooms, with top CEOs. So as soon as you join, you'll literally see me going toe to toe with CEOs. You will learn so fast by doing, it's not even funny. And by investing, you'll be able to invest right away if you want. We have a private Telegram group. You get access to all the deal flow, and I give you a bonus full year of Kings of DeFi, which is our advanced metaverse blockchain course. Next live call is Thursday, 7:15 p.m., and you can be a part of it. We teach it remotely. These are the 6 modules that I teach in real time. I also change my wardrobe in real time, as you can see. But look, these markets move fast, folks, and I might teach one module. A couple months later, I have to reteach the entire thing because this market moves so fast. It used to be all token deals. Now it's all equity deals. When Bitcoin goes back above 40,000, it's going to be token deals again. You got to be able to move fast, folks. You have to be able to move. This is the syllabus. Module 1, what's a blockchain presale? Module 2, what's a SAFT or a state? By the way, how many people know what a SAFT is? Raise your hand if you know what a SAFT is. No hands up. I don't see any hands. Maybe there's one set of hands. That's ridiculous. Literally, it's a shame is what it is. I mean, the fact that you don't know what a simple agreement for a future token means, that you're going to be poor for a long time. And it means that Wall Street is trying to keep you ignorant and in the dark. And honestly, it's a travesty, the fact that you don't have a basic financial education. It's not complicated. I mean, it's a little complicated, but I can get you up to speed within weeks. So that's module 2. Module 3 is deal flow part 1. We do due diligence. Module 2 is deal flow part 2. I tell you how to go to a conference and how to source a deal. I literally teach you what to wear, how to exchange the content. You can walk out of that conference with 10 deals. Next, I say how you nurture these companies. And module 6 is how do we get the cash out? Generational wealth within years is what we're trying to do here. This is our Telegram group. This is our Discord group. And this is our investment club. We are oversubscribed. We always are. Martini literally works 24/7, fielding calls from people all around the world, right? Because everybody wants to be a part of this club. But we are looking for the right people because we want our community to keep thriving. You have to be a London realer. You have to have the right energy. But that's what we want, folks. You don't have to have a fancy MBA. You don't have to have $1 million in the bank. You don't have to have those things. We just want someone who wants to be a part of this with us. And so we've got 5 confirmed spaces. We have 2 on hold. We have 3 spaces left. It might only be 2. Martini's closing sometimes. I don't even know it. The investment in your future is $50,000 to be a part of this course. This was going to double to 100,000, by the way, at our next class because there's so much demand. And yes, it's a significant investment, folks, but it's an unlimited financial return. You can use what I'm going to teach you for the next 30 years. You can leave and go source your own deals. You can start your own fund on the back of this, or you can stay. By the way, if you bring money in, you get a percentage of the upside of each deal. If you bring a deal in, you get a percentage of the upside of the deal. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made here. It's the greatest wealth creation event in human history. And our special investment opportunity is ending soon. We are closing Sarka and open in days. By the way, this was our special investment opportunity on my last class 3 months ago. By the way, this is a SAFT. It looks a little complicated, but it's not. If you had invested in that, you would have made a 466% return in 1 day. How would you like to 5x your money in 1 day? If you had 10 grand, you could have paid for this course in 1 day. I made my investment club $300,000 in 1 day. And this wasn't even a big deal, folks. We were bored that week. We literally were bored and we're like, yeah, let's just do this. We have a track record of success. This is Cross the Ages, our first deal. It is breaking records and making headlines everywhere it goes. It dominates the App Store. It's making $1 million in 24 hours with NFTs. It's getting massive amounts of funding from Animoca and Ubisoft. It's going to 10x this year on a token exchange and then probably go to the moon. We have a track record of success. And so my pledge to everybody in my team here is to create $10 billion for my club in the next 10 years. And you watch us, we're going to do it. You can be a part of it or you can miss out. It's up to you. And look, I got to go shortly, but this is Jens. He's one of our founding members. And he called me up the other day and he said, Brian, these people don't understand. I've been on these Zoom calls. They don't get it, Brian. And I'm like, what do you mean, Jens? He's like, they don't really understand this opportunity. I'm like, well, Jens, like that's their loss. They have the information and we only need 10 people a quarter. So it doesn't matter. He said, no, Brian, I got to tell them they're going to miss this chance. He's like, I'm making a video. You got to play it for them. And I was like, all right, Jen. So this is his video for you.
Why should you join the investment club? And the next obvious question is, can I afford to join the investment club? My name is Jens Krautscheid and I am an active investor in stocks and companies since age 14. And risking of stating the obvious, I'm German. Also, I am one of the founding members of the investment club. And I consider my decision to join the investment club as one of the best investment decisions I ever made and I ever will make. Why? We all had this pub talk, this talk at the dinner table where we complained about our hustle we have to do daily. We complained on the workload we have and we try to top up each other. Who has more stress? Who is more hustling? And then sooner or later someone says, well, if I would have been an early stage investor in PayPal, I would be so rich. Or if I would have been an early stage investor in Microsoft, I would be so rich. And this is nice. This is really nice. But Let's be honest. If you would have had the chance back then, 1992, to invest in PayPal, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have invested? Quite likely you wouldn't have, because you couldn't assess the situation. You couldn't value the situation enough. In the investment club, we get these offers on a daily basis. We get the next PayPals on our table. And then we have a team of 50 people, 60 people, of a growing community of people who will do these assessments. And they will say, do this, buy this, this is the way. And then we buy this. And the next question is, can you afford to join the investment club? And the question really should be, can you afford not to join the investment club? Times are getting tougher. AI is taking over. And in what company you want to invest? In which AI company do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in the ones who do the fridges, or do you want to invest in an early stage Coca-Cola who uses the fridges? It's up to your decision. I tell you now, invest in the investment club and be part of our fabulous, wonderful group. My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I wish you the best decisions of them all.
We like Jens. Come on, Jens has got some good vibes going all around, right? And so, look, I just want to wrap this up and just also just get to any of your questions here if you've got them. But just final thoughts are this, is that it just takes one of these deals can change your life forever, your children and your grandchildren's lives. And so my final thoughts are, don't let 2023 pass you by. You will never get this back. These things are literally, we've got weeks to position ourselves for AI. And I think all the juice is going to be gone. You can learn early stage investing now, and you can use it your entire life. Liquid tokens and equity like Solana and like Apple and Tesla shares, they have limited gains. You're not going to get 1,000x on your Bitcoin, on your Tesla, or your Apple. You're just not. Even hardcore Bitcoiners know that. You can learn from active elite investors for just $50,000. You know, not some professor at some school, not some podcaster, people that have putting money on the line. It's a significant investment, I understand, with an unlimited financial return. And recently we started a payment plan. So for $10,000 a month for 5 months, you can be in, which means for $10,000 right now, you can get in on Zarka and open before we close. And it's the best deal flow in the world. So this is Martini's details. If you want to jot them down, you can reach out to her. She's the one you have to speak to if you want to be a part of it. And again, ask yourself, what is your why? If your why is strong enough, you will find out how. If you don't have a strong why, you won't. I have a strong why. So if you have one, come find us, all right? And we'll do that. So thank you for all the comments. I appreciate it. I know we got to go soon, but Martini's here, so I wanted to pull her on so she can just give you any information on how you can contact her if you're interested and if you're serious about the investment club only. And then we got to jump to our King's Call.
Yes. Well, it was great to spend a good portion of our Thursday with you guys, and hopefully you guys were able to take away quite a few amazing gems and got, some insight as to what's going to be going on in the future. And of course, we all know that AI is the future, and the future is here and now. So if you guys are wanting to be a part of something incredible and start investing in the portion of AI that's going to be doing great for humanity and is really going to move all of us forward, I would definitely say consider into joining the investment club and getting into these projects that we are investing in now. So as Brian said, we do have a call that's going on, so I will keep it brief. So if you guys are interested in joining us in the investment club. And I know for some people, when I have calls, it seems a little bit intimidating if you're new to investing or if you're new to AI and all of this seems a little bit confusing for you. That's okay. We've got people from all levels that are inside of the investment club. But like Brian said, as long as you have the heart to really serve humanity and really have a heart to invest and really want to create generational wealth, I definitely want to connect with you. So if you are interested in joining us in the Investment Club. I put some links inside of the chat there. So go ahead and take a look at the Investment Club page and take a look at everything that the Investment Club will offer and how we can best support you on your journey. And be sure to jot down a couple of notes and a couple of questions. And then after that, go ahead and book a call with me. And like Brian said, I only want to talk to you if you're serious. I'm connecting with people from all over the world and up all around the clock. And my time is really needing to be reserved for people who are really taking this serious and are really wanting to invest in a greater future. So go ahead and book a call with me after you've taken a look at the Investment Club page. I know that we are spread out throughout the land. So if you do not see a time that is available in your time zone, then go ahead and send me a private message on Facebook and let me know where you're from and what time is more ideal for you. And I'll definitely do my best to accommodate. And also there's always email, but I am a millennial, so Facebook is always the fastest way to get to me. So we definitely hope to see you on the inside. And we are really hoping to have you guys on the journey with us to building incredible wealth and being a great part of this shift that's happening with humanity. So, all right, Brian, we got to hop on that King's call. So back to you.
All right, thank you. Give it up for Martini. She is the one to speak to if you want to get in. She's our gatekeeper, and really appreciate everything you're doing. And like she said, reach out if you're interested, but only if you're interested, because like she's just so crammed and so busy with those calls. Look, I just really appreciate all the engagement with the chat. So many great comments. Christopher is understanding how we invest. You invest in a lot of these, and one pretty much will give you these massive returns. 2 or 3 is like, will change generations. Gabriel is saying he wants to get into the DeFi Academy and then learn more and get in the Investment Club before it doubles in price. I agree. Some really great thoughts. People were saying that they think it's really good that we're involved in this space in order to take things to the next level, and a bunch of people doing guest recommendations, et cetera. So I really appreciate the energy here. Look, we got to go jump now and teach this course. But again, this is your chance. Find a way to make this happen. Speak to Martini, and I hope we see you on the first live call. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.